Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the, welcome to the McLean County Chamber of Commerce Town Hall. This is going to be an overview of the new City Services Hub for the City of Bloomington. Today, we're going to sit down with Billy Tias, City of Bloomington Deputy City Manager, as well as Leslie Yoakum, who is the City of Bloomington City Clerk, to discuss the new City Services Hub, or better known as the Hub. Before we dive into today's topic, we just want to recognize our May video sponsor, our May video resource library sponsor, Growmark. By sponsoring our educational programs, the Chamber is available to provide our member eds and town halls to our membership for free of charge. So a big shout out to our video resource library sponsors. Today, or in May, that is Growmark. All of our member eds and town hall presentations can be found on our social media platforms, as well as on our video resource library. The video resource library can be found at mcleancochamber.org. So any town hall or member ed is available to our members at mcleancochamber.org. Again, thank you to all of our video resource library sponsors. They make these presentations possible. So thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I am now going to turn things over to Billy and Leslie. So Billy and Leslie are here to discuss the new City Services Hub. And it is officially opened on Monday, right? Monday with the ribbon cutting, and we did a great celebration. This is a centralized location where citizens and business owners can access several different city departments at once. And so I want to welcome Billy and Leslie to our town hall today. And thank you for joining us, and really interested to hear more about this new feature for our community. So I'm not sure who's kicking us off, but I will turn it over to you guys.
Go ahead, Billy.
All righty. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you all giving us the time to really talk about what we think is going to be a great addition to our city government. I'll really just give you a kickoff, and then Leslie has really driven this proverbial bus from start to finish, and she's really led the effort. And so she knows a whole lot more about what it's going to be and how it's going to operate, and her department actually will be leading it. And so generally, before the pandemic, the manager and Leslie and myself and others have talked about wanting a one-stop shop for our government, where it's a place where people who come and need something from us could really get a white glove level of service from beginning to end. Frankly, we were looking for something that is different from what is traditionally seen with government. As most of you know, I'm sure, we don't always have the best reputation, frankly, for providing that level of service. Sometimes deserved, sometimes not, but that doesn't matter now. We really wanted a place where people could go and get that level of service for anything that they were looking to do in the city. We knew that, let me back up. Currently, much of City Hall is in the actual City Hall, but we knew that we were going to be moving offices to the Government Center, which is just north of the current City Hall. So the thought was, let's do this big as part of that move. Let's create a front door to the city that, again, is driven by customer service, where people can do any number of things. Anything you want to do at the city, for the most part, you can start and do it through the hub. Make payments, sign up for programs, and get questions answered. And we were going to have representation in the space that could help to provide that level of service. We wanted it to be so obvious that that's what this is. We kicked around names that were really obvious, like the Department of Doing, or the Department of Getting Stuff Done, or things that were that obvious that they were different than what you would typically see from a government. Well, fast forward to 2020 and the pandemic, and it changed everything. But as everything typically does, it gave us an opportunity to fast forward this. And I don't know how many of you know our city clerk on this call, but she tends to think in opportunities. And she came to us and she said, hey, let's do this now versus waiting a year and a half, 2 years when the move is done. So what we did was we did almost a soft opening / trial launch at the arena, where during the pandemic, we actually opened something similar to the hub at the arena, where people could come and do everything that they could typically do with city government at that window. as you know, during the pandemic, we needed to limit contact for obvious reasons, safety of both residents, but also safety of our employees. But we needed to still serve the public. And we needed to stay open. One of the things we talk about a lot is that we're proud that we never shut down during the pandemic. We didn't, because as perhaps corny as this sounds, we believe that people needed their government more during times like this than at any other time. So it was important for us to keep going. So we opened a version of the hub at the arena. It's been operating since August of 2020, I think, Leslie. And then, it gave us a chance to really test the concept and work out a lot of the bugs. And so now you fast forward to now, and the actual hub opened on Monday. We did a chamber ribbon cutting, and again, we're excited about what it's going to be. So really what I'll do now is, if you don't mind, leave it to Leslie to explain what the hub is and how it's going to operate and what are some of the things that you can do there.
Thanks, Billy. He does this to me every time. I'm just teasing. No, I could talk about the hub forever. It's a super exciting project. As he said, when the pandemic hit back in March of 2020, we immediately went over to Grosinger Motors Arena and were able to keep staff inside the building behind glass, separated 6 feet, masked, et cetera, so that they were safe and have an area that citizens could come and see us. So we've been doing that since March. Initially, it was my clerk department and finance that were there. And then in August is when we rolled in all the other departments. And so current day, I'm sitting at the Government Center on the corner of, East and Washington Street. And it's in the old Parks and Rec space. I've got 5 departments represented here right now, everything from Public Works, Legal, Parks and Rec, cashiers previously being in finance are now in the city clerk department. So they're here, and you can, pay a utility bill, you can register your kid for soccer, you can pay a parking ticket. God forbid we get those. I got one last week. Don't tell anyone. But all those things that you would have been going from place to place and doing, you now can do in one location. And so administration and council had told us that customer service is the direction that we wanted to go. And there were years that I was in City Hall and I'd look down the street and I'd tell a resident, see the building down the corner that has the long skinny windows, I need you to go there. And after, time after time of doing that, we knew this move was happening. We used COVID momentum and made it happen early. It gave us the opportunity to work through kinks. And we're best foot forward right now, but we're continuing to learn. And the cool thing about the hub is that it's ever evolving. So as other departments have things that they need assistance with, recently we were doing grant applications for COVID stuff. Just this week, we had our first fence permit, weather's getting better. So things like that. But we've created, or I should say, streamlined processes so that no matter what comes to us, the team is equipped to think on their feet, even if it's not something they've handled before, and have a plan so that really the resident or business owner that's standing in front of them doesn't even, have any idea as to whether we've done it before. It's really centric on the level of service. I would be remiss to not say, all the help that we've had. Our directors and supervisors have all had to think out of the side of the box. We kept each of these members that are representatives from another group in their home departments, and we call them bloodlines. We did that because, we could man this team up front and have everybody there, but having them still in their home departments where they're attending their meetings for that department, they're keeping their ear to the ground. If something's changing, they know about it. They have greater knowledge for their home department to better serve. So any member of the team can help you, but let's say it's something, to do with legal or administrative court. They can take your payment, they can answer basic questions, anyone on the team. But when it gets kind of more into the weeds, then that hub member that is the bloodline from legal can step up if they weren't the one helping you and give you more detail. And then let's say that it's even beyond kind of their position, you actually might need to talk to an attorney. Okay, well, what we can do for you is we've actually set up reservable offices that are equipped with video capabilities so that you can step there, and that staff member that's not present in the hub can actually video conference with you and get you the help that you need. So it's really, as Billy said, kind of a private business model, thinking outside of the box. It's not something that you see municipalities do. And so with that, that makes it even more exciting from being able to lead the project, is that it wasn't, I wasn't told this is the only way things are being done, right? It was, hey, listen, this is what we want to do. Think about how we can do it. Let's work through it and make it happen. And it's been a success. So we're really excited about it. We also focused on staff, because through COVID, everyone learned how to do business differently. And each of us, have had that impact. And so through that, we learned that certain staff members might not need to be in office all the time. So those virtual conferencing opportunities allow them to still participate in their home life and be able to focus on that, and still provide the city with what we need from them. And then we created the Hive, and the Hive is a really cool spot. It's, again, kind of an outside the box thinking. It's an alternative workspace is what we call it. And so for staff members that, we've all been working, whatever your job is, and it can get mundane, and you just need a new space to think outside the box, and you can go there and work in small groups, still fully functioning, but outside of your regular office. And that also allows the ones that are working remotely to come in, and let's say they have meetings that day and they actually need to be on site. They can reserve one of those offices and be fully equipped to function the way they need to be. So that's my spiel. I don't know if Billy or Jancy, you have any other questions or things that you want me to talk about, but I could go on all day. They know that.
I would go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was only going to say is I'm going to try and walk through, I guess, a real world example. I know a lot of our viewing and listening audience is of the business community, I would assume. So for example, say you realize on the day before a particular business license is due for renewal, that you need to go and renew it, but you don't, there's a gazillion offices, not really, but that are in the city, and you don't know really where to go. You could actually start at the hub and say, hey, I need to renew ABC license. And you could come there, and either the folks who are there, regardless of where the processing happens, could do that for you. Or if it's one of those things that maybe you need to have a conversation with another department, we could, one, connect you with that department either virtually if necessary. And what would happen is we would follow that inquiry through the process, so that the ball doesn't get dropped, and so that you get proper responses. If it's a multi-day thing where there needs to be some research done, we will follow through to make sure that we communicate with you to let you know where things stand in the process. So you don't have to figure out where to go necessarily. You don't have to figure out where to go in order to get that issue dealt with. Leslie, did I say that right? Yeah,
and that's a great point. So so through this, it was, how do we manage it all, right? And everybody has so many things going on. How do we assure ourselves that the level of customer service that's being provided is the level that we want? And so what we did is we actually took a staff member who had been heavily involved in the project, and really was in a position that she was underutilized. She was overqualified for the position that she had, but it was well suited when she came to the city for the lifestyle that she had. It was what she wanted. But we knew at some point that growth would be something she'd look at. And so what we did is we actually promoted her name is Shirlane Emmons, and she manages this entire area for us. And her and I right now, along with Shelly Braxton, are boots on the ground, figuring out how all of this kind of works and brings it together. But Shirlane will run the hub ultimately in the end, and her position is a strategy and success manager. And so, we were very strategic in that name, and with this customer service focus that we wanted, because the team up there is well equipped to do practically all things. And if it's something they don't know how to do, they're super creative to figure it out and make sure that the customer or the business resident, doesn't feel that impact. It's an internal thing that we'll deal with. But if it does come down to something that needs to be elevated, or needs an in-person meeting, just because we're describing that we have all of these virtual opportunities doesn't mean, the city's now behind glass and you can't access us, on a personal level. That is not what we're saying. We're adding additional ways to connect. And so Shirlane actually, through her position, a good example is a rezoning or something like that. Most often people are going to reach out to economic and community development on that. But we know as we continue to grow the hub, that the hub is also being put forward as the face of the city, and that we're going to need to be educated at least enough to get them to where they need to go. And so those like higher level ones that might not be directly dealt with at the hub level then get escalated immediately to Shirlane. And Shirlane works directly with that group to get them in contact with who they need to be, whether it's our economic development coordinator, or maybe it's the director of the department, our city planner, whoever it is. But she'll act as that point of contact that puts you in the right hands, basically. And then once you're passed off, it's not that you never hear from Shirlane again. We actually want to know about how it happened, because we want to be able to continue and grow and serve better. And so through that, then Shirlane will be reaching out to find out, I put you over here. How did that go? Do you have any advice? Is there, how was the process? And offering additional help, maybe that we didn't get you with the right person. We will make sure that we're there and kind of learn and grow as we go. So that position is crucial. She also, another part of Shirlane's position is special projects. And it's really important on how we tied those two together with the hub management and special projects, because we're not perfect and we know that we have areas of growth. And so the special projects opportunity then allows her to take that form of help or growth that we need and carry it to the end to make sure that it's achievable. So it was really exciting. It was a great win for us to be able to keep her and to utilize her in the best way possible. And luckily she was ready for more on the family side, which we were thankful for too. And the administration allowed us to expand to be able to do that. But yeah, that's been crucial to us. And I know we'll continue to find different areas that we can do better, and we want to hear about them.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. I just want to let folks who are listening either on the Zoom or who are watching us on Facebook, if you guys do have questions, you can drop those in the chat or the comment box, and we will relay those to Billy and Leslie as we go forward. So first of all, my first question is, the hub, can you just really quickly say again where it is located at? So in the chat and in the comment box, I did drop the website in there, as well as you guys' contact information in the email. But where is this physical address at? And how do people, if people want to get there, is there a special parking or anything to get into the building?
Sure. So we're located at 115 East Washington Street in the Government Center. The Government Center also houses the county. So if you're familiar with where the county clerk is located, where some people might vote, things like that, it's right on the corner of East and Washington, or East and Front. The building actually sits between Washington and Front Street. It's next to Rosie's on Front Street as well, if that's a good point of interest for all of us who love that place. But the best point of entry, you can come in on Front Street or Washington Street. We are right off of Washington Street, so that's the closest to get to us. If you come in on Front, you're just going to go to the opposite side of the building, towards Washington. We're here Monday through Friday. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We take our last payment at 4:30. So 8 to 4:30 is good timing for payments. And then in terms of parking, there's actually street parking right on Washington Street, going both directions. Another good point of contact is across the street from the old State Farm building. That's an easy one for most people as well. Right now, I think there's 2-hour parking, handicap accessible spaces on Washington Street. And we're actually working with the county and the Downtown Transportation Committee to change the parking times there. We're actually wanting to reduce them to an hour, and I think we're going to do 30 minutes on one side and an hour on the other, just so that people have that opportunity to, if you're just doing a water bill, you can pop in. So there's constant rotation over there, but trying to be mindful of all things. Something else that just kind of popped in my head, I think it's important to share, is there's a payment drop box that's located at City Hall. And a lot of people pay water bills or a variety of different things there. That payment drop box is still available and is being checked regularly as it was before. And we are working right now with the PBC and the county to actually move that payment drop box over here, looking to install a drive-through that would actually have a variety of different things like the BEC, the Bloomington Election Commission, is actually on the 4th floor here in the Government Center, and they're coming down here to join us and be a part of this whole hub thing here. They're looking to move in June, and so we'll have more information about that as we get closer to their move. But they're looking at different opportunities about like installing a voter drop box, you know, just different ideas, thinking in other ways that we can service the community better.
That's fantastic. Thank you guys so much. I think this is a really cool convenience for our community. As someone who lives in the city of Bloomington, I am very appreciative of it. As we go forward, and I think Billy alluded to this, a lot of our folks listening today are businesses, business owners. And so what are the top 3 things that you want chamber members and our business owners in the community to know about the hub?
Billy, you want to start and I can?
Nope.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that we're here to serve you better. I mean, I know that that's not an instruction of something that, you know, of how to or whatever, but it's the reality. The thing that we want to do is to be here for you. And I think that, you know, we've heard already from businesses that, you know, might have gotten the runaround a few years ago or whatnot, or however long. And we've tried to reach out to them to let them know that we've learned from those experience. And under this new administration, they've really made that a focus for us, and it's going to continue to grow. But they can pretty much do anything here. And I mean that. And that's for residents not owning a business. That's the same. This is where you should be starting. And if it's not something that we can do for you, you're not going to leave with, you know, lack of information or come back later. We'll actually figure it out while you're here.
Great.
One of the other things is that we are in the business of trying to make sure that we can get things done. And there unfortunately sometimes are times when we over the years have said no or had to say no. But the new mindset really is to try to get away from no and trying to figure out maybe you can't do something this way, but also giving options and opportunities to do things differently if for whatever reason the thing you're looking to do doesn't work the way you want it to do it. So we're really trying to work with businesses in order to show them that we are here to work with them and for them. And again, in those instances where maybe something doesn't work the way they wanted to have it done, let's figure out how to give options for how they can do what they want to do. And that really is the mindset that we're coming to these projects with these days. And so, you know, I've heard some of the stories about past experiences, and we're working to change the perception of being difficult to work with. One of the things I'll tell you is that Melissa Hahn, who is the Director of Economic and Community Development, her mindset is really to try and figure out how we can do things because it benefits all of us. And so I think I'm hoping that people are starting to see a shift in sort of the mentality of how we deal with business. So.
If I could too, the other thing I would say directly to business owners is if there's something that, you know, I don't want to pull out the things that are all bad about us or something like that. But I just mean if you've had a bad experience and it's something that maybe isn't being addressed right now, I've been in the clerk position for 3 years. Before that, the city was my client since 2014, before I came in-house. And so, you know, I'm also a local commercial property owner. So I've had my own run-ins with the city that weren't perfect. Right. And so I think that empowers me to do more. And if there's ideas that you have, something that you might have seen in another city or a private business, I don't think there's any draw the line for us. You know, I'm happy to hear about those. L Yoakum, Leslie Yoakum. So it's just lyoakum@cityblm.org is my email. Let me know. I mean, it might already be on my radar. It might not, but we want to hear about those things. And some of them, you know, if they're not on our radar, we don't might not in particular know about them. But he was mentioning Melissa Hahn, you know, being in the position as the director. She's great. She has municipal experience from other cities in these areas too, and a new number two, her assistant director, two came with different experience. We have a new economic development coordinator who's just starting this week, I think, or this Monday. So there's so much going on internally that really the focus is to do better. But I just would encourage you to reach out if there are things that you want to make sure are on our radar or ideas that you might have.
Fantastic. Thank you. Again, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat or the comment box. But as we wrap up today, I just want to kind of go over for folks, you can find anything from paying a parking ticket, as Leslie alluded to, none of us get those, doing kind of a finance payment if you need utility payments, licensings and permits, that's a place to go for the hub. We'll get you there if it's liquor, tax, video gaming, as well as if you're looking to, do rental property programs or the COVID grant programs, those can all be kind of, this hub is a great place to be a starting point for that information. So they have police and fire and, human resources and the library and parks and rec. So everything is kind of right in this one-stop shop for folks. So if you're not sure where to start, what I heard from Leslie and Billy is the hub is the place to start. So whatever you're looking for, either the folks there can address it or they can direct you appropriately. So if anyone does have any questions, please enter those now. But Leslie, Billy, any final comments or thoughts for folks as we wrap up today?
You actually reminded me of something, and a couple of things. The city still has funds available through our small business grant program. And I'm actually trying to find the link to it that I can put in the chat. And if not, I'll send it to you to send out. We still have funding available to assist small businesses that the city council allocated, I think, late last year. There's still a significant amount of money available for business. And so I'm trying to find that link. And so we encourage people to participate in that program. The other thing, I believe that the state opened a new landlord tenant assistance program. I think it was on the 17th, whereby there are funds available to help landlords who maybe have been hurt by the pandemic as it relates to having rents paid. And so I'm going to find those links. And if I don't before this call is over, I will send them to you, and you can provide to your membership if you don't mind.
Billy, I just dropped one in the chat. Can you confirm that that's what it is? I think it links to the Small Business Assistant Grant Program.
If that's got it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I will put that on our Zoom as well for folks, or Zoom on our Facebook as well for folks. So those small business assistant grants, those are still open and available. And the hub was a great place to start if you need more information, right?
You got it.
Wonderful. Leslie, any final thoughts that you have for everybody?
Just thank you. We asked for patience too. I say best foot forward right now, but we're still learning and growing too. But just the commitment to do better and keep this as kind of our forefront. So excited about that. Just would say thanks to facilities and IT, our supervisors, directors, and like the hub staff team. So give them a shout out when you come in, and I'm sure you'll be excited to see some of their smiling faces. And it's a lot of the same faces that you've been working with over the years too, so you haven't lost those points of contact. And like I said, if we can't do what we need to do that day, we will definitely make it a focus. And even if it needs to be to a priority level of Shirlane stepping in and helping, we're here to help. So looking forward.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you both so much. Again, thank you, Billy, Leslie, for joining us today. We appreciate your time and taking the time to really talk to the Chamber membership about the hub and the services that are available through that. Once again, if you'd like to learn more about the hub, you can visit the city's or the website. It's bloomingtonhub.org. I've dropped that in the chat in the comment box. The Chamber would once again like to recognize our May video resource library sponsor, Growmark. So because of their generous contributions, we're able to provide these informational sessions for free of charge through our membership. And we're very grateful for our sponsors, such as Growmark, that are sponsoring our video resource library. All of our sessions are recorded and available shortly. I'm not going to say they're going to be available right after this on the Video Resource Library. It does take a second, but in the coming days, you can find those on the McLean.co.chamber.org website. So check that out. This does conclude our town hall for today on the hub. Thank you everyone for joining us, and have a wonderful day.